there may be a tropical disturbance. There may be a tropical disturbance out there in the Caribbean. We want to bring in Chad Myers, who's tracking it for us. Chad, where is this thing and what is it?
Anderson, it is a disturbance. Doesn't have a name, doesn't have anything. They are running computer models on it, but it's not significant yet. Here's Cuba right through there, and then kind of here's Haiti right here. So all well south into the Caribbean, where there's some very warm water. There is a potential for this to develop into something. It is still going to travel off to the west, we believe, possibly head toward the Yucatan Peninsula, or worst case scenario, it would be somewhere on up into the Gulf of Mexico. So let's take a look at what the computers are saying, at least for now. Here are a few of them, not all of them. There are a few that are doing other things, but if the storm, let's say here's Jamaica, again here's Cuba, south of there, and it travels and turns like they typically do, eventually turning to the right. Without a turn to the right, it stays into Belize and then into Mexico and just makes rain. That would be fantastic. But if it's going to turn, like all the models, you can see the models here. If it's going to turn, it's going to make a big difference whether it goes to the west of the oil slick, which is right there, or to the east of the oil slick, which is right there. And you say, well, why would it matter so much? It matters so much because depending on the track line, here's another track. I'll show you all the other tracks. This is everything we have. If it takes this line, then all of a sudden the winds blow this way, offshore and taking the oil away from land. Perfect scenario. It doesn't get better than that. Now, if the storm goes off to the west, the winds blow this way and blows all that oil right on shore. Now, it won't pick up the oil and rain oil 50 miles inland, but a whipping wind, you've been in it, you know, when your lips taste like salt water, you can get this spray to be picked up and blow this water and this oil inland at least a mile or so. The big story would be how far the storm surge would take it in. Would it be 3 miles, 4 miles, 10 miles? And that would pollute an awful lot of land if the storm goes to the west and pushes the oil to the north. Ash.
Chad, thanks very much. We're going to continue to monitor the tropical disturbance, bringing the latest on where it's going, what we know as soon as we know it. Let's talk to Billy Nungesser about what kind of preparations there are. I mean, obviously, you know, folks saying this is going to be an active season. I'm always skeptical of predictions because you never really know. But how do you prepare for this?
Well, we've had meetings with BP and the Coast Guard. We're still waiting for all their equipment, all their personnel. We've actually picked out a place in the north end of the parish. I don't think we'll get all the equipment, all the people out, being realistic. Even if we pull the trigger on their evacuation the same time we do the offshore rigs, that logistically having quarters barges with 100, 200, 300 men that have to be transported by boat back to shore is a big task.
Right.
So we're going to take this location as a last resort to hunker down in the north end of the parish, but we will not put the citizens in harm's way. When the contraflow goes into place, those vessels, those buses will not be allowed on the highway. But we're planning for it. It's just going to be a mighty task.
And obviously, the drilling wells will have to shut down. The rigs will have to be moved. And the boom, I mean, obviously will
be gone. It'll end up right here where we are if it's a bad storm. But you're right, and the Coast Guard has new regulations, which a lot of people don't realize on these vessels. They used to bring them into the inner canals. Coast Guard says no more. They got to get them out of there. So there's not really a picked out safe haven place for the barges and vessels. They can't all head upriver, depending on the storm surge and which way it's coming. So it's a mighty task. Last year, the last hurricane where Gustav and Ike, we sunk 74 vessels, barges in the parish. We will not allow them to be there as torpedoes for the levees. So they need to get out of there.
That's concerned. They can literally become torpedoes, get picked up.
That's exactly. In Clackamas Parish, that's what happened for Katrina. Everywhere we had a levee break, we had a barge inside the levee. So we will sink them, and sometimes that's the easiest method. And afterwards, you pump them out and bring them back up. So we're waiting for their plans, but we have to have a backup plan as the parish to make sure we make it safe.
Scary times. Billy, appreciate you being with us.
Thank you so much.
Very much. Still a lot more ahead tonight. We're going to take a look at what is happening to marine mammals out in the water. We'll have a lot more from the Gulf in just a moment. But let's check in with Randy Kay, who joins us for 360 Bulletin. Randy.
Anderson and